You know, I come from a family of doctors and nurses. So I grew up in a family where you were just going to go to med school, you were going to be a lawyer, pretty much one of those two industries. And so I did my undergrad in genetics and cell biology. I loved it. I worked with lots of flies and was kind of more on the scientist side, and then decided I wanted to be around people. So I did a second bachelor's degree in nursing and decided to specialize in bone marrow transplant. I loved that. I worked in nursing, actually worked in New York for a while at Sloan Kettering, New York Presbyterian. I worked as, bedside nursing in bone marrow transplant for over 10 years. At that time, when I was just early started to date my husband, he was in a very different world. He was a serial entrepreneur. He'd built and sold several companies. And on our second date, he said, "Do you mind if we just make a stop?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." So it was Paul, his soon-to-be co-founder, and myself sitting at a Starbucks table, and they were scratching on a napkin, literally the idea that turned out to be their cybersecurity company that's now 8 years old. It's raised over $180 million in VC funding. And I just was looking at these guys. I was like, this is a really weird date. I have no idea what they're talking about. What is this startup and tech stuff? It was just completely outside of my realm. And so they started working on that. It was literally two guys and a laptop. And he would keep pulling me into these meetings being like, "Can you do this? Can you do this?" And I was like, "Oh, not really." He's like, "You're smart. You'll figure it out." And I did. That's really how I got into technology. So now I use that story to tell people, because they're often like, "I don't know anything about technology. How do I make that transition?" And I just tell people, get involved. You don't even have to be in the right place at the right time. You just have to get involved in your local technology ecosystems, go to meetups, like just be around people and share your passions and talk about things that pain you, because this could turn into a company. You can fix those problems. And technology has enabled so many people to build such amazing companies. And I mean, you couldn't build a website 10, 15 years ago on your own. You can do all these things now and you're starting a company. So that's kind of how I transitioned. During that course of the time, I started my own beverage company. It's called Limitless Smart Shot because I wanted to be smarter. So I used part of my nursing background to create this product that would help increase your focus, attention, and memory. I sold that online for several years. And now I run an innovation center and do investing on top of that.